you?
I'm good, Leora. How are you?
I'm very well. It's such an honor to speak with you. Congratulations on this powerful film, Nitram. You give such a heartfelt, empathetic performance. It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That's a great statement. Thank you so much.
So I know this story is deeply personal to you, notably because you live in Tasmania. So I'm curious about how you felt bringing this story to life.
Well, to start with, I was very nervous about it. Both Justin and I were nervous about it because we live here. I'm from here. And it's a very sensitive issue in Tasmania. And we had a lot of upset about making it, even though people hadn't read the script or knew the sensitive way with which Justin, Sean, and all of us were going to handle it. But we talked about it and talked about it and talked about it, and the script is so fine, and this way the story is told is so sensitive, and also it's a story that can't be forgotten and just swept under the carpet. It changed Australia's gun laws, and because of that, we haven't had, touch wood, a mass shooting of that kind since. Now, as you'll see in the film, Australia has, is not really succeeding in holding strong to those laws. Mm-hmm. But it for people who were very little or not yet born, no one knows that story, and it's really important, and people are interested, and it profoundly changed the way people saw guns in Australia. And I wish that would happen for America. And I think that it would be fantastic for all Americans to see this film and realize that perhaps access to guns for anyone is not really a great idea.
Yes, I completely agree. And I know that Justin has a very meticulous process in terms of having his actors prepared by seeing certain films, by listening to certain music. So I'm curious what your preparation process was like.
Well, we didn't know very much about Helen. There's a little bit written about her, and there are lots of people who knew her. She's quite a lot older than me and quite physically different to me. But we knew all the information about her and how she actually had, she was a terrible hoarder and had something like 59 dogs and 37 cats, and and fed them steak and bought a lot of high-end cars, and used to walk down the streets of Hobart in her fur coats and but lived alone. So, and we also knew that she'd been in the Mikado. There was a photograph of her in the Mikado, an amateur theatre. And so we sort of went down that path of theatrics and Gilbert and Sullivan. And that was quite a delightful path to go down because their lyrics are brilliant, and they had a plethora of wonderful songs to choose from. And I went through and found that wonderful patter song from Ruddy Gore, which, it doesn't really matter. And I have to die tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter. And I just thought it was perfect.
Yes.
And then so I was learning a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan so that I had it all up my sleeve. And there was a lot of preparation in terms of physically what she would look like, since I look so different from the real woman, how she looked. So that was that was, costume with Alice Babbage going through a million different versions of who she could be, and then finding the right tracky pants and the right skivvy. And then, just deciding on all of that physical stuff, and the fact that she was really wealthy and maybe she wanted to straighten her teeth, so braces. And but I even though I was working, I was with Justin while he was working on the film for the whole time he was leading up to it. I wasn't intending to play that part. It was sort of quite last minute. Justin went, "I think you should do this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was
wow. Kismet.
It was quite, it was a lovely process, and the process also of taking her from the script, in which she was quite gregarious and welcome to my world of music and theatre, to actually exploring the isolated side of her, and why she lives alone, and why she has all those animals, and how awkward she is in society, and how she recognizes a fellow awkward person.
Yeah. When I spoke with Caleb, he said one of the scariest days of his life was singing with you. So what was your experience like working with him?
I love working with Caleb. He only says that because he couldn't remember the words. It's really fast. I couldn't remember them either. We were trying to drive the car and remember these million billion words.
Yeah.
I love working with Caleb. He's so dedicated, and he worked so hard on his accent, and he was loose and gentle and friendly, and we started the film together. So we got to build the world of what if things were okay? What if these two ran off together, into not necessarily a lover's relationship, and think that would terrify Helen, but
yes,
but that there was this kind of magical world, I guess, like the snow dome image that we created, a little snow dome of our world together. And Caleb's such a gentle, beautiful soul. Yes. And he's actually an incredibly good musician. So it was hilarious teaching him the piano, because he's really good at the piano. So in between takes, he'd be jamming, making up songs, and he was endlessly delightful. And it was really wonderful working with him.
Mm-hmm. And I love your scene work with Judy Davis. Such a beautiful moment between the two of you. So tell me about working with her. Had you worked with her before?
Well, I had actually. She's been like my idol since I was little, and I always wanted to work with her. And then she chose me to direct her first play. So I wasn't directing, she directed me in School for Scandal. And so I met her scared. And so we worked together through a whole rehearsal period and performance of so it was quite a wonderful way of working with her and getting to know her. And but that was 20 years ago. And so now to actually get to act with her was quite wonderful. Just she's incredible talent, and I'm honored that I finally got to do a scene with her.
And what a scene. Oh man.
Yeah,
there's so much said and unsaid in that scene. It's just so beautifully written and so beautifully performed.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of scene partners, I spoke to George Mackay and he also loved working with you.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
love
curious
working.
about scene partners that you've had over the years that you'd love to work with again.
Oh my God, everyone. I love working with George. I love working with Caleb. I love working with Judy. they're three definite. Oh my gosh, Colin Firth. I love working with him. I'd love to work with Scarlett again.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, so many beautiful everyone's names are going out of my brain.
That's okay. I put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
Oh, there are too many good people and lots that I want to work with that I have yet to work with. I want to work with Emma Thompson. I
Yes.
I'd love to work with Meryl Streep. I'd like to work with all the dames.
Why not? Yes.
Yeah, and all of the yeah, everyone. There's lots of people I want to work with.
And what have you been watching or reading or listening to lately that you've been really into?
Oh my goodness. Well, White Lotus, laughed my head off about Murray Bartlett. And
Yes. So
that was
good.
so outrageous. I loved that series. And I'm a little bit behind the times in what I've been watching. So Mayor
It's
of
okay.
Easttown I thought was extraordinary. And Kate Winslet was genius, and everyone in that cast and the whole way that was dealt with was excellent. I've just been listening to a lot of classics, lots of listening to a lot of audiobooks, and trying to catch up on classics that I have always meant to read and haven't. So it's really fantastic. Lots of Dickens, Anna Karenina,
Oh, wow.
and Austen, and I'm having a good education.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you so, so much for the art that you bring into the world. Thank you for this film. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely day. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, Leo.